Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and in this video, we're going to be talking about why your ex pulls away when they actually love you. This can be a really interesting conundrum that people can end up in, and we're gonna talk about this. Because oftentimes when your ex pulls away, it can make you think that you did something wrong, or that they're losing interest in you or something like that. And, sure, that absolutely can be the case, but it's not always what's at play here. They might actually have strong feelings for you, love you even, and still pull away. Before we go ahead and get into that, the reason why I said this piece of content instead of this video is because we're starting to upload the audio from these videos onto a podcast platform. You can definitely get it through iTunes. I don't think they even call it iTunes anymore. The normal Apple podcast thing, or other platforms as well too. In the description box for this video on YouTube, there'll be links to the podcast thing as well. We tried doing this a while before, and some people were downloading them and listening to them, but I just didn't think it was having a lot of an impact, and it just seemed like another thing to do. And it was just I'm a busy guy, and for some reason exporting the audio and uploading it to a website just seemed like a big deal. So we're going to do that again. I've had some people come forward that say, yeah, I found you on your podcast. And then I found out it was just like the audio from your YouTube videos. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of times people can't listen to YouTube when they're on the go, and they'd rather just have a podcast or something. So we're going to do that again. I discovered that people are finding us through that mechanism, and it makes sense to do it. So anyway, back to all of this. Your ex may love you, but still pull away. Why? What's going on? So the first thing is they might just be confused. Your ex broke up with you for some reason or other. And usually when someone breaks up with someone else, they have to hold a negative image of that person in their mind. They have to see you as someone who it's not possible for them to have a great relationship with. Either because the two of you are incompatible, or because they, are extremely upset about something that happened, or whatever the case might be, but they see you, for better or worse, in a negative light. And maybe some of this is manufactured. Maybe they are just imagining some of it. Maybe they're having to create some of it, or maybe some of this, or maybe all of it is, deserved on your part because of actions or things that you did in the past. But either way, they have this negative image of you. And, hopefully you're showing them that they're not walking back into the same relationship that they walked out of in the first place. And so they're seeing some different side of you as the two of you are interacting post-breakup. So what this can actually do is it can cause your ex to pull away. Now, why is this? Now, obviously, they like probably these changes and improvements you're making in your life. They like you working through your emotional issues. They like you getting things figured out. They like you taking responsibility. They like you doing all of these things, but they're pulling away. Why is this? It's because they're not sure what to put their trust in. They had this image of you that was worth breaking up with, and then they meet you in real life or interact with you in some way, and you're this different person. They're going to naturally be a little bit confused. They're going to say, what is this? I thought you were this way, but then it turns out you're actually that way. What's the real one here? Was this just you on your best behavior? Is this just you trying really hard? Is this maybe some weird scheme or gimmick that you picked up somewhere along the way and you're trying to do it just to win me back? Or is this actually a legit change? Is this a legit improvement? And so they're going to naturally pull back while they try to make sense of this disconnect. They're going to naturally pull back and say, well, which is it? Which should I put my faith and trust in? Don't get me wrong, they absolutely like this improved version of you, most likely, as long as they are perceiving it as an improvement. But they're just not sure which to put their trust in. So when this happens, obviously what you want to do is you want to continue to inspire the trust. You want to continue to show up with consistency and to continue to build that trust with them. Because the more you continue to show up with consistency as your current version of yourself, the more trust you're going to build with them that that's who you really are. Versus if you were to, if it was just some sort of gimmick that you learned, if it was just you on your best behavior, if it was just you, trying some reverse psychology mind game or something, eventually the truth would show through the cracks and they'd say, oh, that was just a gimmick. You're still that old person. You're still that old version of you that I imagine when I think about why we had to break up. So, that's another reason why you want to make sure that you're making legitimate, real changes and all of that. You want to make sure that you're doing things to better your life, like pushing that like button for the YouTube algorithm here, or doing other things as well too, like improving your communication skills, improving other areas of your life. I'm trying to be kind of humorous about it, but I think I just have such a, I don't know, flat personality or dry humor or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, help us with the algorithm. Hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, that could be one reason why your ex is pulling away. The second reason that your ex might be pulling away, even if they actually love you, is that they're trying to do it right. When we care about someone, when we love someone, when we're really interested in someone, we feel an urge to move toward them. But many times we can also feel a bit of fear that maybe we might mess it up, fear that maybe we need to say the right thing or do the right thing in order to make things happen. And so they might actually pull away, when it comes to moving things forward with you, connecting with you, meeting up with you, doing whatever, because they're not sure if what they're going to say right now is going to be the right thing. And they're holding back, saying like, okay, maybe if I just think this through a little bit, then I'll be able to come up with the right thing to say. If I wait a little bit longer, then I'll be able to suggest meeting up in just the right place and have just the right plan figured out. This I think is pretty common, especially for guys. At least that's what I experienced, back when I was single and dating is, yeah, I'd really like a girl, but I'd often kind of move a little bit slower, not because I was intentionally, trying to play hard to get or anything like that, but because I was like, oh my goodness, like this is someone I really like. How can I make sure I really take her on a great date? Or how can I make sure I really have like the best way to respond to that text message or something like that? And so I would wait a little bit longer. Whether or not that was the right thing to do or not is up for debate, but that was kind of my thought process, and that's where a lot of people may also be when it comes to interacting with you if they really like you. So just know that they might be just trying to do it right. The third thing that someone might do if they actually love you but might cause them to pull away is because they think that they need to play hard to get. Now you guys know this. There's all of this advice out there on the internet that says, you need to play hard to get, you need to make them work for it. Whoever cares the least controls the relationship. And people kind of believe this to be true because they've heard it so many times from so many different places. Obviously, I don't believe that is true, but it's still kind of a constant noise in the world around us that many people do pick it up and they kind of believe it's true. And so they might be doing it. They might be pulling back intentionally because they think it's what they have to do. And they're not even knowingly doing this. They're not even consciously doing this. Like I remember, again, back when I was single, if I met someone and I really liked them, we go out on a date or whatever. And afterwards, I would, for some weird reason, I don't know where I picked this up, but for some weird reason, I thought I needed to wait like 2 or 3 days afterwards before I contacted her again to get something going again, because I just thought, you can't seem too needy, too desperate, too interested or whatever. And so, there's obviously little things like that, but there's also like, intense levels where this shows up. Like in the men's advice world, there's the whole pickup artist stuff. In the women's advice world, there's all of these things like, play hard to get and do all these other things. And your ex might be kind of buying into some of that stuff. I don't agree with it. I think that we have better relationships and better connections when we can actually just be real, be human, be authentic with one another. But there are enough people out there that have not come around to this way of thinking, and for better or worse, they just believe they need to play some sort of mind game. Not that they're intentionally trying to manipulate you, like they're like, yes, I'm going to use reverse psychology to force you into my web of deception. Most likely that's not where they are. Most likely they're just like, wow, I really like you, but I really want to make sure I do this right. And I read on the internet that in order to make a man interested in you, you have to seem distant and aloof and make him work for you or something like that. And so that might be what your ex is doing, potentially. That might be why they're pulling away if they really like you. The fourth reason why your ex might pull away when they really actually love you is that it's getting real and they're working up the courage to make a big move. I've talked about this before. in our video, in our content on the 5 stages your ex goes through when getting back together with you. If you're watching this on YouTube, then we're going to put a video card right up there for our 5 stages of getting back together video. Go ahead and click on that if you want to. It's been really helpful for a lot of people. But, in the early stages, when your ex is at Wall of Reactance, Test Drive, or even Riding the Dragon, interacting with you is kind of a hypothetical intellectual exercise. It's like, what would it be like to talk to my ex again? What would it be like if we met up again? Would it be weird? Would it be cool? Would it be romantic? Would it be uncomfortable? What would it be like? Would I have feelings for them? Would they have feelings for me? I don't know. But once you actually start to get to the crisis point, then it stops being this intellectual exercise and it starts being kind of real. They recognize, I have real feelings for you. What am I going to do about it? Here I am. Maybe I'm in a rebound relationship. Maybe I am, maybe I told all my friends and family that we broke up and that was hard. Am I really ready to make it real by telling all my friends and family that, hey, we're dating again? Or am I really ready to make it real by breaking up with the rebound? I don't want to look foolish by doing all of these things and then having things between me and you kind of fizzle out and fade for whatever reason. So I'm going to hold back. So they could be kind of pulling back a bit because it's getting real. It's causing them to feel uncomfortable. They're starting to actually have to confront the real practicalities of what it might mean to actually have feelings for you. And they may be kind of creating that space to either, put off making that uncomfortable decision, or maybe as they're thinking like, okay, just need to like work up the courage. Yeah, it's a really hard week this week. Maybe I'll wait until the weekend and then I'll finally tell some folks or whatever. But that's another reason they could be doing that. The 5th reason that your ex may pull away when they actually love you is because they may not actually know how you feel. I know that there are a lot of people out there that probably think, okay, yeah, my ex obviously knows that I want to get back together. They obviously know that I love them. But that's not necessarily always the case. Your ex is just a human being like you are. They have their own doubts. They have their own fears. They have their own insecurities, anxieties, and all of that. And just like anyone else, they don't want to necessarily put it all out there and risk looking foolish if it's like, yeah, I totally love you. And then you just turn to them and say, whoa, like what's going on? You broke up with me and you're trying to tell me you love me? Like, I just want to be friends with you. I think we should just be friends. I have no feelings for you. It's just platonic or whatever. Like they don't want to risk that. And so that's why one of the things that we talk about in, many of our courses and programs and coaching and things is being transparent, being vulnerable. Again, we've kind of talked about this a bit with the playing hard to get and the mind games and everything, but being vulnerable and being transparent actually creates a lot more bonding than a lot of these manipulative tactics, because it allows someone to actually see who you are and for them to actually know where you're at. Like what if you wanted to be in a relationship with someone and you thought you needed to do all these mind game, reverse psychology things, and you had to pretend to be someone you weren't. You had to pretend like you weren't interested in them. And then things between you and that person didn't materialize. And you had to live the rest of your life knowing that you didn't give it 100%. You didn't give it your all. You weren't genuine with them. You weren't straightforward with them. You weren't honest with them. You'd probably feel a little bit of regret. If you are willing to take a chance, if you're willing to open up in a positive way, in a good way, obviously don't just do the whole usual thing that a lot of people do right after a breakup where they, pour their heart out, beg and plead, call, text a million times and all that. But if you do it in a positive way where it's genuine, they'll know where you're at. And then they can make a real decision. Like, yeah, am I willing to be honest with you? Am I willing to come forward and admit to you I love you? And they're going to know what they're getting into. So it's actually a strength to be vulnerable. It's actually a strength to be honest. It's actually a strength to come right out and to share a lot of this stuff if you're doing it the right way. If you do want to learn how to do that, we have our course called the X Solution Program over at modernlove.life/ESP. That's modernlove.life. It's not the .com. I looked into buying modernlove.com, but it turned out it was like $15,000 to buy it from whoever owns it. So I'm not going to be buying that anytime soon. Maybe someday. .life for now. modernlove.life/E as in X, S as in solution, P as in program, but modernlove.life/ESP. And we talk about advanced relational skills in there in terms of, how to bring yourself to the interaction in a genuine, authentic way where you can express desire, you can express all of these sorts of things in a way that's actually received well, as opposed to being a turnoff. And, whether or not things work out between you and your ex, you'll be able to embody these advanced relational skills and know that, hey, I gave it my all, I gave it 100%. And I can look back at the end of my life knowing I wasn't just playing, kind of muted, kind of muffled, pretending to be someone I wasn't. And they never actually got a chance to see who I really am. And if that's something you want to learn more about, check out modernlove.life/ESP. But yeah, thanks so much. Once again, hit that thumbs up button. I'm sure it helps your ex when they pull back emotionally. Maybe. I'm sure it doesn't hurt anyway. Anyway, yeah, thanks so much. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. It helps us out. All the engagement. Anyway, thanks so much. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.